Hey, welcome to the book of Obadiah. It is the shortest book in the Old Testament. It's a series of judgments against the nation of Edom. Edom was the neighbor to the southern country of Judah. So what's the big deal about Edom? Well, they share a history together. They both belong to the family line of Abraham. If you remember back in Genesis, if you remember the story, Abraham and his wife Sarah wanted to have a child. And finally they get one, Isaac. Isaac and Rebekah have two sons, Jacob and Esau. Jacob and Esau, if you remember the stories, they didn't get along. There was a lot of friction going on. Jacob came from the family line of Israel. It's where Israel comes from. Esau, the family line is Edom. And just like the brothers didn't get along, Israel and Edom do not get along. And there's a whole lot of friction that takes place for hundreds of years. So when Babylon invades Jerusalem and destroys it and takes back captives, guess what country sits on the outside and just watches things take place? Yeah, it's Edom. So when Babylon takes those exiles away, guess who goes into Israel and starts rampaging through and taking over what Israel had in those cities? Yeah, it's Edom. Guess who started mistreating the refugees that are left behind? Yeah, it's Edom. And so the first 14 verses of Obadiah are just accusations against the country of Edom. So let's do that. The one chapter, Obadiah, the Good News Translation. This is the prophecy of Obadiah, what the sovereign Lord said about the nation of Edom. The Lord has sent his messenger to the nations, and we have heard his message. Get ready. Let us go to war against Edom. The Lord says to Edom, I will make you weak. Everyone will despise you. Your pride has deceived you. Your capital is a fortress of solid rock. Your home is high in the mountains. And so you say to yourself, who can ever pull me down? Even though you make your home as high as an eagle's nest, so that it seems to be among the stars, yet I will pull you down. When thieves come at night, they take only what they want. When people gather grapes, they always leave a few. But your enemies have wiped you out completely. Descendants of Esau, your treasures have been looted. Your allies have deceived you. They have driven you from your country. People who were at peace with you have now conquered you. Those friends who ate with you have laid a trap for you. They say of you, where is all that cleverness he had? On the day I punish Edom, I will destroy their clever men and wipe out all their wisdom. The fighting men of Teman will be terrified, and every soldier in Edom will be killed. Because you robbed and killed your relatives, the descendants of Jacob, you will be destroyed and dishonored forever. You stood aside on that day when enemies broke down their gates. You were as bad as those strangers who carried off Jerusalem's wealth and divided among themselves. You should not have gloated over the misfortune of your relatives in Judah. You should not have been glad on the day of their ruins. You should not have laughed at them in their distress. You should not have entered the city of my people to gloat over their suffering and to seize their riches on the day of their disaster. You should not have stood at the crossroads to catch those trying to escape. You should not have handed them over to the enemy on the day of their distress. The day is near when I, the Lord, will judge all nations. Edom, what you have done will be done to you. You will get back what you have given. My people have drunk a bitter cup of punishment on my sacred hill. But all the surrounding nations will drink a still more bitter cup of punishment. They will drink it all and vanish away. But on Mount Zion, some will escape, and it will be a sacred place. The people of Jacob will possess the land that is theirs by right. The people of Jacob and of Joseph will be like fire. They will destroy the people of Esau as fire burns stubble. No descendant of Esau will survive. I, the Lord, have spoken. People from southern Judah will occupy Edom. Those from the western foothills will capture Philistia. Israelites will possess the territory of Ephraim and Samaria. The people of Benjamin will take Gilead. The army of exiles from northern Israel will return and conquer Phoenicia, as far as north as Zarephath. The exiles from Jerusalem, who are in Sardis, will capture the towns of southern Judah. The victorious men of Jerusalem will attack Edom and rule over it. The Lord himself will be king. So just in case you've forgotten, at the beginning, the countries are divided, the kingdom of Israel and the kingdom of Judah. The south end there, that's the kingdom of Edom. That's the country that they had and they developed, and there was always animosity between Edom and Judah and Jerusalem and all that is going on there. Edom's pride and fall is an image or maybe a reflection of the pride and fall of all the nations. We've just read books of Joel and Amos, and both conclude their writings with the hope of the nations that if they call on the name of the Lord, they're going to be saved. It's going to be okay. Obadiah does this something kind of similar. God is going to repopulate with a faithful remnant, and his kingdom is going to expand not just for Israel, not just Judah, but for all nations. So, Edom stands as an example to us that pride leads to a fall. And the fact that everybody can be restored if they turn to God. So that's our challenge. Turn to God. Is pride something that you struggle with? If so, change. Have that turn and then change of heart, a new direction, reverse course. I love you. I hope you have a great day.